Not far from Chitrakuta lay Janasthana, an outpost of the Rakshasas under the fierce warrior Khara, brother of Ravana. From there, the demons ranged the forest, tormenting the rishis in their lonely hermitages, until at last, the holy men abandoned their ashrams in the Chitrakuta region, despite all that Rama could do to dissuade them. After Bharat had gone, Rama no longer felt wholly at peace at Chitrakuta. His brother's tearful, disappointed face and the bored figure of his widowed mother were always before his mind. And now that the rishis had departed too, the lonely hut so brimmed with sad memories that he resolved to seek another home, deeper within the Dandaka forest. So they left Chitrakuta and came to the hermitage of the sage Atri, who knew the country well. Most warmly were they received, and Sita won the heart of Atri's wife, the saintly Anasuya, delighted to find in Sita the very pattern of wifely virtue. Anasuya blessed her with all her heart. Anasuya, herself pure womanhood made flesh, gave Sita beautiful garments and auspicious cosmetics such as set off the charms of lovely young wives, gifts that lent both beauty and an inner strength. My lord loves me with the love of a mother and a father both, said Sita as she received them. I am blessed indeed. Then, having asked the way, the three took up their journey again through the great Dandaka forest. After a time, they reached a place where many rishis dwelt. Even before they came to it, they saw sacrificial gear, bark garments, and deerskins laid out to dry, and knew at once that here was a settlement of holy men. The place was beautiful to behold. Birds and animals moved about freely, fearless through long familiarity with their kindly human neighbors. Ripe fruits hung heavy from the trees, and the beautiful sound of Vedic chanting filled the air. As the travelers came near, the radiant faces of the rishis turned to welcome them. O king, you are our shield, the rishis said. Town or forest, wherever we may be, you remain our king. And they gave the newcomers everything they needed and somewhere to rest. So Rama, even out in the wilds, was honored as the true guardian of Dharma go where he might. Next morning, the three took their leave of the rishis and went back into the forest, which was thicker here and full of tigers and other wild beasts. Slowly and warily, they made their way through the shadowed woods. And then, without warning, a gigantic shape, misshapen like a broken piece of a hill, came rushing at them with a blood-freezing roar. It was a man-eating rakshasa, and his roar was like thunder. His ugliness was past all telling, and the tiger skin he wore was smeared with blood, with lumps of raw flesh still clinging to it. On his great spear was skewered and strung the bodies of 3 lions and the freshly hacked off head of an elephant, which he brandished menacingly at them. The Rakshasa raised his weapon, gave a horrible roar, and springing forward, snatched Sita up in his arms. Holding her fast, he bellowed at the princess. Who are you? Little men, how dare you come into this forest? You wear matted locks and bark, yet carry bows and go about with this woman, hypocrites, disgracing the good name of the rishis. Know that I am Viradha, the demon roared. The flesh of rishis is my daily meat. This lovely girl I shall take for my wife. Do you understand? And now I mean to drink your blood, you villains. Held fast in his monstrous grip, Sita shook with terror and cried out to her lord to save her. For a moment, Rama lost his usual self-control. Lakshman, this is unbearable, he cried. Kaikeyi must have known of all this when she sent us into the forest. Bewildered, he scarcely knew how to meet the monster who held his beloved. But Lakshman, hissing like an angry serpent, was already aflame with wrath. Rama, you are strong as Indra, and with me beside you, you should not speak so dejectedly. Lakshman said, watch what my bow and arrow can do. My wrath denied its outlet at Ayodhya. I shall now loose upon this monster and shatter him as Indra of old shattered the winged mountains.
I shall slay him where he stands.
Who are you? Tell me at once. Viradha roared. Now Rama's mind cleared, and his face glowed with courage. Calmly he answered, we are princess of the Ikshvaku race, come to dwell in the forest. And may we know who you are? So even before the monster, Rama recovered his royal composure. So you are the sons of Dashratha? The demon sneered. My father's name is Jaya, and among the Rakshasas I am called Viradha. What can you puny Kshatriyas and your absurd little weapons do to me? Brahma has granted me a boon that no weapon can harm me. Leave the girl and run. If you would save your lives. Rama's eyes went red with anger. The hour has come for you to go to Yam, he said, and bending his bow, loosed a sharp arrow at the monster. It drove clean through Viradha's body and came out glistening red with blood, to fall on the earth beyond. Yet the Rakshasa was not slain, for Brahma's boon held good. Maddened by the pain, Viradha set Sita down on the ground and lifting his spear with his mouth gaping wide, charged at the two princes. They loosed a storm of arrows at him. So thickly did the shafts stand in his body that he bristled all over like a huge porcupine. And still he came on. But the Rakshasa only laughed and shook his limbs, and all the darts fell harmlessly away. Straightening himself, he raised his spear once more. With two swift arrows, the princess broke the spear in pieces and rushed at him with swords drawn. But the giant seized them both up in his hands. He set the two princes on his shoulders and strode off into the depths of the forest. Sita, seeing them vanish into the dark jungle, wailed aloud in terror and grief. But Rama and Lakshman, riding one on either shoulder, and knowing that no weapon could kill him, resolved to master the monster with their bare hands. Riding upon his shoulders, the brothers wrenched off the monster's mighty arms and hurled them to the ground, then fell upon him with their fists and feet. Still they could not kill him, for Brahma's boon protected him from slaughter. But the agony of his wounds was so terrible that he howled aloud. He had begged immunity from death, but not from pain. At last, the brothers flung the worn-out monster down, and Rama set his foot firmly on his neck to keep him from rising. And at the touch of Rama's feet, the fog of a curse from an earlier birth lifted from Viradha's mind. And in a sudden rush of memory, he knew at last who it was that stood over him. Folding his hands humbly, the Rakshasa said, your feet have touched me, Lord, and my eyes are opened. Now I know who you are. I am no Rakshasa by birth, but a Gandharva under a curse. The boon I won only keeps me from release. But if you could somehow slay me, I should win back my true form and go to heaven. So Rama and Lakshman crushed him without weapons, as he had asked, and buried him in a deep pit dug in the earth. And in that moment, the Rakshasa was freed at last, his monstrous shape falling away as his radiant spirit rose up and returned to the shining world of the Gandharvas, delivered by the grace of Rama. The princess returned to where Sita stood, still trembling with fear, and told her all that had happened. Then, comforting her, they journeyed on to the ashram of the sage Sarbhanga. There Indra himself was present, speaking with the rishi. But knowing that Rama had come, the king of the gods cut short his talk and departed. Rama, with his wife and his brother, drew near the sage and saluted him humbly. It is for you that I have been waiting, said Sarbhanga. The time has come for me to leave this body, but I wished first to look upon you. Now my desire is granted, and I pass on to you all the merit of my long penances. My lord, ought I not to earn my own merit? Rama answered, how can I take what you have earned? I have given up everything to live in the forest. Rather, tell me where I may best make my home, and send me on my way with your blessing. So Rama, God though he was in mortal form, kept the humility of a true seeker. Knowing the secret of Rama's avatar, the sage said only, learn from the sage Sutikshana, where in the forest you are to dwell. Then Sarbhanga kindled a sacred fire and stepped into its flames. His mortal body was consumed in the blaze, and from the pyre a youthful, ethereal form rose up and floated away into the heavens. When the rishis of the forest heard of Viradha's death, they came and gathered around Rama. It is our great good fortune, O king, that you have come to dwell in this region, they said. Hereafter, we may perform our penance untroubled by Rakshasas. But look at these bones scattered all around, the remains of ascetics slain and devoured by the demons. The rishis on the banks of the Pampa and the Mandakini live in constant dread for their lives, they said. A king's first duty is to guard his subjects, and a share of the merit of our penances is his by right. You shine like Indra, king of the gods. Shield us from this persecution. You are our only refuge. I am bound to obey you, O great ones, Rama answered. It was to honor my father's wish that I laid down my kingdom and came into the forest. If, while I fulfill a son's duty, I can serve you too and do some good, I shall count the blessing doubled. Stay I will and make an end of the Rakshasas. So let your fear be gone. Rama's promise brought relief and joy to the rishis. Then Rama, Lakshman, and Sita journeyed onward toward the ashram of the sage Sutikshana. They came to a great hill ringed by thick forest, and entering, saw bark garments drying in the sun, and soon came upon the old rishi himself, seated in deep serenity. The prince saluted him and said, Rama is my name. O holy sage, I have come to have your darshan and to ask a blessing of you. The sage rose and folded him in a warm embrace. Welcome, upholder of dharma. Your coming lights up my ashram, and it is yours from this hour. Long have I awaited the sight of you. When I heard you had left Ayodhya and dwelt at Chitrakuta, I knew you would come here and lived only in hope of seeing you. Else I would long ago have given up this body. The sage said, the merit I have gathered, I now pass to you for yourself, your brother, and the princess. But again, Rama gently declined. I must earn my own merit by my own good deeds. O sage, Rama said, with your blessing, I hope to go on doing so. I wish to make my home in the forest. Sarbhanga sent me to you for your guidance. Where might I build a dwelling for the rest of my forest years? And the sage's face lit up with a meaningful joy. You may live here in this ashram, the sage said. The rishis dwell all around, and the forest is full of fruit and roots. Yet evil beasts are abroad, molesting the sages and obstructing their penance, and the holy men can bear the trouble no longer. But for that, the place is good. And Rama understood at once what the sage meant to convey. The prince bent and strung his mighty bow. Holy sage, I shall rid you of these evildoers, he said. My bow is strong and my arrows keen. But it is not right that we should leave within your ashram and break in upon your penance. We shall find ourselves a place close by. Grant us leave to do so. So spoke Rama, ever careful of the sage's peace. That night they stayed as the sage's guests. In the morning, the three rose and bathed in cool water sweet with the scent of flowers, kindled the sacrificial fire, made their worship, and touched the sage's feet. By your grace, we have passed a good night, said Rama. Now we wish to visit the other rishis and receive their blessings. The sage embraced the princess and blessed them. Visit the good rishis of the Dandaka forest, he said. They have all one great austerities and divine powers. The forest is beautiful with deer and birds and lotus tanks, and the hills with cascades and peacocks. Go now, Lakshman, with your brother and with Sita, and return here whenever you feel the wish. The three walked reverently around the sage, according to custom, and took their leave. Sita handed the princess their swords, bows, and quivers, and they set out once more into the forest, more radiant than before, strengthened and gladdened by the blessings of the great sage. So ended the terror of Viradha, and so began Rama's great mission in the Dandak forest, not merely to endure his exile, but to fulfill it as a sacred task, to rid the woods of the man-eating demons and to shield the helpless rishis, keeping his father's word and serving dharma at once. Behind them lay the buried monster and the liberated Gandharva. Ahead lay the long years of forest life and the great deeds destiny had prepared. The gifts of Anasuya adorned Sita. The blessings of the sages strengthened the princess, and the whole wilderness seemed to breathe easier for their coming. For wherever Rama went, the shadow of fear lifted from the forest. The rishis took heart, the animals grew tame, and the very trees seemed to lean toward him in welcome. In the guardian of Dharma who walked among them, the holy men of Dandaka had found the protector they had long prayed for. And so Rama took up in the depths of the wilderness the burden he had been born to bear. The exile that Kakai had meant as a punishment became, in his hands, a great and holy campaign. The beginning of the war against the demons that would one day carry him all the way to Golden Lanka. So the princess and Sita went deeper into the Dandaka woods, from hermitage to hermitage, blessed at every step. Viradha was ended, the sages were reassured, and Rama's purpose was set. The peaceful days of Chitrakuta were behind them now, and the great trials of the forest lay waiting ahead.